In this week's video, I'm going to be showing you how to clean up your Google Drive. These are just 3 quick, simple tips. There's lots of different ways that you can organize Google Drive. Hopefully this will help get you kickstarted into getting things a little bit more organized. The first thing that I want to talk about is stay away from special folders. What I'm talking about here is like the classroom folder. When you use Google Classroom, it will create a folder for you, and then all of your classes and all of the files will live inside of this folder. You don't need to mess with this. Don't get in there and start deleting stuff. You could accidentally delete things that should belong to your students. Stay away from special folders. You can put this in its own folder if you would like. You can create a folder called Special Folders, put Classroom in there. Sometimes when you use extensions like Screencastify or the like, they may also create folders in Google Drive for you. You want to leave those alone. The first thing that we're going to clean up now that we know to leave those special folders alone is our orphan files. So what do I mean by orphan files? Have you ever created a new document? Maybe you typed a couple of sentences and then exited out of it and then you never come back to it. Also, another example of an orphan file is how many times have you made a copy of an example? You went to a presentation or a training, you made a copy of somebody's document and then you never came back to it. You can see here I have at least 9 documents that are copy of. So instead of just leaving them there, why don't I go ahead and make a new folder, create. I'm also going to give it a color. And then I'm going to come down here where all of these copy ofs are, and I'm going to use my control click. You can also do command click if you have a Mac, like this. And then I can either right click to move, or I can click and drag and kind of scroll my way back up here, and I can drop those off into the folder. Another way of getting rid of orphan files is to search for files named untitled. This happens when we create a file and we close it before we give it a name. Lots of different files live in my drive with the name untitled. So let me show you a really great way. Now I could scroll down until I got to the use and looked at all of my untitled files. But in this particular drive, I have almost 15 gigs of stuff in here. It's going to take me a while to scroll all the way down. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my search bar here. I'm going to click my search options. I'm going to look for item titled untitled, and I'm going to make sure that it's owned by me. So any file type owned by me with the name untitled. Search. So these are all the files that I have that are in my drive owned by me that have untitled. So from this point, I can either throw these into a folder, I can probably go through and give them a name, I can delete them. For example, this untitled form, probably don't need that. Probably don't need this document. A lot of these are examples, things that I have opened up quickly to show during a demonstration and then just never came back to it. And also rename them if you would like and put them where they go. The last tip that I want to show you is how to create a priority workspace. So in Google, if I go to priority instead of my drive, I have this really neat section where I can create a series of files that are easily accessible. Now, the only thing that a workspace can't do is you cannot add a folder to a workspace. These are specific files that you can add to a workspace. You can see here that I already have 2 workspaces. I have one for a certification series and one for a research project that I'm doing. To create a new workspace, you just hit create, give it a name, and then you select up to 25 files that can live inside of that workspace. Insert. And here is my workspace. And then I can click done when I'm all finished. And now I have those items right here. When I'm done with the workspace, all I have to do is click the 3 dots and either hide or remove. Anything that's hidden is going to be down here at the bottom. So if I hide this workspace, it can be down here at the bottom. They're basically just really fancy shortcuts and also a little bit more organized than, say, using Start. We hope these 3 tips were helpful. We know there's many different ways that you can organize and streamline Google Drive. Hopefully this encourages you to get in there and get organized.